Good evening, happy stampers. How is everybody doing this evening? Welcome. My name is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and I am an independent demonstrator from the United States. Hang on just a second. I need to get up my phone so I can see your responses. So if you're watching on Facebook tonight, welcome. If you're watching live, please say hello. Let me know where you're coming from. And if you're watching on replay, please mark replay and let me know where you're coming from. And if you're watching my YouTube channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe, and everybody make sure you give hearts and thumbs up if you're liking something. So tonight I'm doing something just a little bit different than normal. I am going to talk about some tools tonight. We are going to make a card in the end, so stick through the entire thing tonight. Several of you have asked about some of the holiday cards, the Christmas cards that I have received. So I am going to be sharing those with you. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, Chris. I'm sorry to hear about that. So you are catching me actually live tonight. So I'm looking here. Hang on just a second. I have the wrong live up. I actually, don't have my live. I had Tuesday's live up, and it was like, oh my gosh, why are you telling me you're watching on replay when you are actually doing live? Okay, let me get out and get back in, because for some reason it's not showing my live so I can see your responses. And I know, there you go. Okay, I know I have several of you on already this evening. So, Christmas cards. I'm going to share some of my Christmas cards with you. I took them down today. I started cleaning and stuff already. I know, it's kind of crazy, right? And then you guys asked me about some questions. So I'm going to answer some questions tonight and show you what I use. So let's get started, okay? I'm going to flip you around and see. I'm so happy that my YouTube viewers are able to watch me live now, because not everybody does Facebook, and I realize that. Okay, you're seeing the January to June mini catalog in front of you, and the January and February celebration catalog. If you're not currently working with a demonstrator and would like a copy of it, just email me at judystamps.com, and Judy is with an I. Okay, I can't show you the insides of these until Tuesday. Tuesday is the first day that we can show the inside of those. Many of you, your catalogs are on the way. They have been mailed, and who knows where they're going to be showing up because of the delivery. Okay, Christmas cards. Here's one. This one uses a paper pumpkin, and it's the paper pumpkin for November was actually gift boxes, and they made it into a card, and it's a slimline card. And this is actually from my brother and sister-in-law. And then I have another one here that uses an older set of ours, and I believe it's called Merry and Bright. It is one of my favorite cards, and this one is from Sue Folkman. Thank you, Sue. Oh, and this one is using a non-Christmas set. This is using the Forever Ferns, I believe it's called. And she used a red, white, and blue theme. I love the blue, the night and navy on here, and how these colors are used. And this is a non-Stampin' Up! Ribbon, but you know what? It is gorgeous on here. I love it. I love patterns, polka dot. And this is from Jackie. So thank you, Jackie. And this next card, let me see who it's from. Okay, this is using one of our dies. And I just love how she went and layered just a very small layer of the cherry cobbler on the back. And This is embossed, gorgeous. It looks like she used designer series paper here. And this is from Chris. And Chris is on here very often watching us. So thank you, Chris. This one, oh my gosh, I was amazed at this one. This uses our Starburst die that we no longer have, but look how she used the silver and then she used the cutouts from different designer series paper to create that Starburst. I think this is just gorgeous. And this is from another Chris. So thank you, Chris. And this one is from Phyllis. And I do not think that this is our paper. But I think she did use, I recognize this paper, but I don't know if it's ours or not. It's gorgeous. I just love how she used some of our designer series paper. And, I think this is from last year, some of our paper. And isn't this just gorgeous? And very, very simple. Did Jesus in the manger. And I just think this is a very gorgeous card. So thank you, Phyllis. This card is from a team member of mine and another gorgeous card. Look at that. She used some of the designer series paper from Celebration last year, combined the silver and gold and white. I just think this is very elegant. So thank you, Vani, for your card. This next card uses a combination, and this is our trolls from last year, and I just love these trolls. And see how she embossed the back with those trees, and she had inked up the embossing folder. So this is from Mary. She's another team member of mine. This is gorgeous. She went and colored the snow also. It glistens a little bit. I don't think she used well, she may have used Wink of Stella on it because now I can see it better there, but I know it glistens. I just think this is cute. And this was one of our edgelets, these trees. Adorable. And this was some of our, I believe, older designer series paper. So thank you, Mary. This next one comes from Christy. Very, very simple, elegant card. I think this is gorgeous. Used some dies here and very simply designer series paper did the work for her. Gorgeous card, Christy. Thank you. Okay, this one here got a little smashed in the mail. I do recommend that if you guys mail out items with these plastic domes, we've carried several different ones, and coming up in the next catalog, there is one for a bubblegum machine. Use a padded envelope or pad the front of it somehow, because this got smashed and I can't push it back out. No matter how I try to, it won't smash back out. But isn't this gorgeous? A cute snow scene, a snow globe. I love snow globes. And just some stamping on the background for that. And this is from Monica. So thank you, Monica, and my brother. So this next one is from a customer, Judy, and it's Judy with a Y. That's how we know her. That's how we differentiate between me and her. She is Judy with a Y. I am Judy with an I. And gorgeous card. This is kind of like a pearlized paper in the background that she embossed and made this bow and carried that gold theme with the sequins and the star and the ribbon. So that is gorgeous. Thank you, Judy with a Y. Next card is from a friend, an ex-teammate of mine, and I believe that she did this all by hand. This is done by Barb, and she has been into painting and drawing a lot lately, and I believe that she hand drew this card. Could you imagine hand drawing all of your Christmas cards, you guys? It's kind of crazy. We think just stamping them is crazy, and she went and drew and colored that one. This is from another customer, Kathy. She used our dies here, added some glitter, and cut this out, not with our die. I believe she used a die cutting machine for that, but isn't that just gorgeous? Very simple again and gorgeous. So thank you, Kathy. This one is from Lou. Look at our little penguin guy. Isn't he cute? Okay, I'm going to fess up. This is so cute. I love this little guy. So thank you, Lou, for that. This next card is from Lindy. And Lindy used some, well, actually, I don't know if she used anything from Stampin' Up! This year. She always makes gorgeous cards, but she knows I like gnomes, and this is just so cute. There's no place like home, and I just think this little gnome guy is so cute. So cute. Okay, our next card is from Mary Jane. So Mary Jane made this. She stamped it, she colored it all, and put these sequins around. And I don't know if this, I think, is a stamp, and it has glitter on it. Mary Jane loves using glitter pens. And here is another one. This one is from Laura. I adore this one. It is non-traditional colors, but look how cute that is. This reminds me of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How about you guys? It's just a happy card. I love non-traditional cards, colors for cards. I think they're happy and they bring joy into your Christmas world, right? This next one uses the poinsettia dies, and this one is from another team member, and it's Elisa. And this is a flocked designer series paper in the background. She used the poinsettias and some ribbon and a Merry Christmas on there. And this poinsettia, you guys, this has got 1, 2, 3 layers on it. Now, if you had made this and you wanted it to stay 3-dimensional, it gets flattened out in the mail. So if you're just mailing it like that, no sense popping that up. But if you are not going to mail this and not worried about how thick it is, you could pop dots underneath some of these to bring those up. But that's another gorgeous card. It reminds me actually of my childhood days when there was so much flocking around. So this one is from Edna. Edna's on here quite often. I'm sure she's on here watching tonight. And she used some designer series paper, our snowflake dies with some glimmer paper, and just stamped the label. Just how pretty. And Edna is another one that loves Night of Navy. Okay, our next card is from Maggie. Maggie, I love your card. And she used, this is the designer series paper from Celebration, you guys. So she cut it out, but when she cut it out, it has the one deer in it with the snowflakes falling. So she didn't have to stamp. She did emboss in the background, stamp this and a little bit of gold ribbon, and voila, you have a card. But isn't that gorgeous? I love that. I love simple stamping. Okay, this next one is from another stamping friend of mine. And although it does not use Stampin' Up, it's gorgeous, isn't it? And, you know, some of these cards use Stampin' Up products with other products. And that's what I love. You can mix and match and use up what you have, right? I'm a big proponent of that. I particularly love the star that she has on top of this tree. I think that is gorgeous. And she has little mini rhinestones here. Isn't that gorgeous? And then this is on a, it almost feels like washi tape. I'm going to have to ask her when I see her if that is washi tape with some more rhinestones. But I love the stitching around on her dies also. Okay, my last card actually is a gorgeous card, and it actually uses the stamp set that we're using today. This one is from my good friend Ellen, and she used the Mountain Air stamp set. Isn't this gorgeous? How many of you would have thought of doing something like this? So she put some gold foiling in the background. She stamped and embossed. So it looks like I'm not sure if this background color is just gray or if it's a silver. Yeah, it's hard to tell. The very lightest. And then she stamped the green. And then she stamped the trees and embossed them in gold. And look how elegant that stamp set looks on here. And the words are, "The world in solemn stillness lay." Another gorgeous card. So I want to thank all of you that sent me Christmas cards, handmade Christmas cards. I do appreciate them, and they will be hanging up in my studio for all to see, probably for the next year. I'm not kidding. If you can hang on just a moment. I thought I brought a glass of water with me, and I didn't, so I had to grab a drink. My mouth is really dry tonight. Okay, next we're going to go on to some organizing. And several of you have asked me, "Judy, how do you keep everything organized? And do you have a place for everything? And is it all labeled?" Well, I'm going to tell you, no. I do have a place for everything. It is not all labeled. I do switch things around a lot. So this time of the year, and when the new catalog comes out, so every 6 months, I do some things. I clean my scissors all off. I clean my paper trimmer and my Simply scoreboard and my Stamparatus. I go around and I clean all of my ink pads. And how I clean these, because see how they get ink on them? I just take a baby wipe and I will wipe it. And you're going to notice that it does not take all of it off. So my next step is I just take a little bit of hand sanitizer, squish it onto my baby wipe, and then I will wipe over this a couple times. Now that does have some alcohol in it, so that usually takes care of the staining. Okay, but now don't forget to not only clean off the outside of your pads, but clean the inside of your pads. Now you want to clean around, you don't want to, you're going to clean around the pad, but we're going to do that last. We're going to clean around the edges here, okay, in this runner. And in this over here, and we're going to get some ink. Now, if you choose, you can clean this off too, and you can just wipe it out. Maybe not all of it will come up. I don't worry about that because I'm always watercoloring. So I'm always dabbing that ink in there. So I don't worry about that. But where you do want to worry about is up here where, you push this close, and when you pull it out, you grab here and you end up with ink on your fingers. Well, that's because you've got ink here. And how the ink gets there is sometimes when you're inking up your stamp, you get a little crazy and go overboard. So you get it on there. So all you want to see how I'm just wiping it with the tip of the wipe. And I am rubbing against the pad just a little bit. But you want to wipe that inner and then wipe the, whoops, needed to move that down. And then that outer edge to clean that off. Okay, then we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the upper edge first because we're going to get ink from that ink pad on there. And then we're going to move to another spot in our wipe. And I'm going to wipe that edge again, go down just a little bit, and clean that X edge. Now we have this edge. I close my pad to do that edge because then I don't have anything in my way there. And I do the same thing. I go across that upper edge and then this bottom edge. And you can see I still have some ink over here. So I am probably going to just take this and rub that outer edge again. You may have some staining. If you are real persistent and want it white, I don't worry about it as much because I do have people using my pads. So this is good enough for me. I push it. Now, if your pad doesn't run back and forth this easily, you can take a little bit of beeswax or a candle and just rub it in that edge and rub this back and forth, and that will let it slide back and forth easily. Now, before I close this, you're going to notice that I got some ink on my fingers, so I got it on here. I just double check all these sides to make sure they're nice and clean. And yes, I go through all my pads, and you want to make sure it snaps shut. Okay, and I do this. I actually do this monthly with all my pads because some of them just get really dirty. Like I do it with the pads that I use in all my classes on a monthly basis. But I go through every 6 months and clean my ink pads like that. Now, another question you guys have asked me is with these new pads, how do you know when to re-ink them? Well, you know to re-ink them when you're stamping and it's a light image. Next question is, how do you re-ink them? I just take my re-inker and I put dots in the middle. Okay, I don't worry about putting dots of ink towards the outside because in most cases when you stamp, you go and this re-inker. Okay, this re-inker, you guys, look at this. This is a really, really old re-inker, but it's almost empty. I don't know. It just seems like red doesn't need to be re-inked as often as the other colors, some of my other colors. Okay, so we have the ink on the inside. When you close your ink pad, it is going to be upside down so that ink is going to stay towards the top of your ink pad. Okay, and it's going to spread out. If you want, you can take a spoon or a soft edged item. I don't have anything right here. I have a pen. I don't really want to use a pen. You can use a soft edged item. Oh, I used to keep a plastic spoon here just for that, but I don't have one. But you want it to be curved, and you're just going to rub it across, just like I do when you guys have seen me when we use distinctive stamps to spread that ink out a little bit if you think it's too blotchy. But I always test the first time I use it. So then I just put that away. And like I said, I do that with all my ink pads this time of year. Another thing is I go through my scraps. I have my scraps in individual file folders, and anything that's less than 3 by 3 gets pitched. So that is the ink pads. My papers I go through now. I will go through my stamp sets. I will check the cases and the inside of the stamp, see if they need any cleaning. My stamp blocks. Okay, I do clean my blocks all the time. This one is dirty. I just use a baby wipe on it. If I need, I will use, this one actually has some adhesive on it. I don't know how that got on there. I will also use hand sanitizer, or even this has got, I can tell this has got red on it because I can see the red coloring when I look through it. So make sure you do the sides also. Mine just have these on, so when I do events with other demonstrators, I know which blocks are mine. I will even use rubbing alcohol, but I do rinse them off with a mild soap and dry them because I don't want the alcohol to dry out my acrylic. Another thing you guys can do, you can pop these in the dishwasher. So just take all your blocks, pop them in the dishwasher, the next load of dishes you do, and they will all be clean. And then just buff them off with a soft cloth. We don't run our dishwasher. I have to make sure that I run it once a month so it doesn't dry out. Okay, another question you guys had was about my liquid glue, my multi-purpose glue. How do I keep it to this end? Do I ever use this end? I do use this end when I want to spread the glue out, but I mostly use the fine tip end. And I go around and I make sure that that is cleaned off, close it. I have these little Beehive votive holders. And I have these at my stamping stations in my classroom. And we just pop those right in there and it stays up. And so while they are working, they have a place to put them. You can find votive holders all over. The dollar store has them, Walmart has them, any place. Whether you want them decorative or not, it's up to you. You can just get the plain round glass ones and they hold those fine. What I'm stamping here, this is where I put all my little chads in here from my dimensionals. You can also purchase online. This was a gift of mine from one of my team members, Christy, and it's made just for this. But you don't have to have one of those. I love it because now I can use this for my scraps. Let me take a drink real quick here. The next question everybody asked, how do you keep from losing your dies? Okay, we made this at one of my weekend events. And what this is this is a magnetic sheet in here. This is just a frame from the dollar store, you guys. This stands up on my work surface and I can just attach my dies right there. And oh, I don't have any dies here. Oh no, yes I do. Hang on a second. They're in the stamp set, the Mountain Air, which we're using tonight. So while I'm working, or as I'm working and I know which dies I need, I will put those on there. They stay on there. They don't fall off, but yet it's light enough that I can pull it right off usually. Okay, I'm not going to pull it off right tonight, just because we're on we're on live. We actually went and decorated this frame. You can decorate it however you want, but that is one thing. And then for Christmas this year, one of my clients gave everybody, one of my monthly hostess card club gave us all this tool magnetic thing. Now this is what your husbands would use out in the garage, and it just sticks on there. They stick. And I love this because now in my classes, I have two things to stick dies to, so I don't have to worry about them. I put them in, I even put them in blue plastic baggies. But this is great to have. I had threatened my husband I was going to steal his a while back, and he says, "Don't you dare." He's got a bigger one. But, go to some of your hardware stores. They carry them. They're not very expensive, but that is another great tool. And I love it here when I'm stamping with you guys because this is actually magnetic on the bottom also, and it sticks to my mount where I have my webcam on too. Okay, so I think that is it. I answered the questions that I have gotten in the last couple weeks. Thank you so much. And if there is ever anything you guys have a question about, make sure you contact me and, ask it, and I will bring it on one of my lives. Oh, we are going to be making a quick card tonight. I have two card bases. I have one in Smoky Slate and one in Petal Pink. We are using the same designer series paper that I used on Tuesday, which is the New Horizons, which is in the new catalog. And I went through them. If you want to see both sides of all of them, please watch my video from Tuesday, either my live on Facebook or go to YouTube, and it is up on there also. But all the different patterns, I showed and talked about them, and I don't want to waste time tonight talking about that again. So I do have a mat that measures just under 4 inches. It's one tick under 4 inches. So it is 15 sixteenths. It's 3 and 15 sixteenths by 5 and 3 sixteenths. Okay, so it's a little bit, I just wanted the base to show more. I'm going to show you, we're going to do the card, and then I'm going to show you this mat on both these bases, just to show you the different feeling that you'll get. And I chose this pattern of paper, And I think this is gorgeous on this side too. I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out which side to use on these papers. And we are going to be using the mountain air, and we're going to be using the mountains, and we're going to be using these trees. And we might use a couple of these trees also. But I do know that when I place the trees, let me show you this. So when you're going to decide on number one, where you're going to stamp and what part of the paper that you're going to want, you can take your stamp. And these here remind me of evergreens. And if you look at this, so just from here to here, if I match this up here, it almost matches perfectly. So I know that I want that part in there. I don't necessarily want all these coming out. So when we ink it up, I am only going to ink up from there to there. But I know that I want that in the center of my card. So if I go in here and I am going, our base is just under 4 inches. So I want to go just under 3 3/4. So I'm going to hold it up there, and my line, let me get a piece of paper. My line will be cut off right here. Now, if I'm okay with that, which I am, because I want it offset just a little bit. So this is perfect. I don't want it exactly centered. So that is perfect. But look at, I still have this big piece here. And this reminds me of trees and stuff here too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this piece, but don't throw your scrap away. So we know that our length from bottom to top is one line under the 5 1/4. So we want to go one line under 5 inches because we want to go 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to cut that off. And I'm not throwing this away. No way, Jose. This has got some pattern on it. Even though it looks white, it actually has some gray on there that I can use on another card. So we know we want this. We know we want to stamp the center of this in the green. And let me see if this one's long. Okay, this block is long enough. So I'm going to, once again, hold this up to match where I want to stamp. And I'm going to cut it off at here. And I'm going to cut it off here when I ink it up. So I'm going to put my block over that area. Okay, I'm going to take my soft succulent. Okay, and I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to ink this up. However, I know that I don't want to go over, so I'm actually going to use this dimensional that looks like it's falling apart. Okay, so my Stampin' Dauber, and I want to ink this up, and I want to ink it up pretty heavy. And see, by using this, I can brush it out on the bottom a little bit. And I'm just going to keep inking that up because I do want it pretty dark there. Okay, now before you stamp this on your paper, I want you to stamp it on a scrap. So we're just going to stamp this right down here just to see. And it's very, very light. So, but I don't want to go darker with my color. So I know that I'm going to have to ink this up quite a bit to get that ink on there. And what I'm even going to do is I'm going to brave it out and ink it up with the pad. Now on this side, I'm going to just dauber along these edges because I don't want a really dark line there. I'm then going to take these and I'm going to line them up to those trees that I imagine on there. Okay, I'm going to hold it there for a couple seconds, pushing down, and look at that. Look at that. It looks like it is printed right on that paper. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get a larger block now because I want to put some more on there. And I'm going to only do bits and pieces. Let's do these right along here, right down there, and then we're going to ink it up. And I'm going to do some here, bringing it up a little bit more, and then stamping just like that. And now I'm going to stamp in between the two and overlap a little bit. Okay, that is going to soften those rough edges that were right along there. And I think that that is gorgeous, don't you guys? And how easy is that? You know, and you're not having to color the background. Hey, Chris, how are you? And good evening, Janet from Ontario. How are you doing this evening? I'm glad you guys could join me. Oh, sorry. I have not been watching the comments. I am so sorry. Okay, now I'm going in for the mountains. And we are going to ink those up with the smoky slate. Okay, I want these to be in the background. I don't want them to be very dark. I ink that up. And I'm actually going to bring those up just above that skyline that they have there, because that is going to break that up and bring that color up into the sky. So let's see what we have here. And look at that. Now see how it brought that background paper just up? Now we could stamp some trees along here, but I think that that kind of gives it the image of trees already, using our imagination a little bit. We do have some birds in here, so I'm going to have some birds flying, and I am not going to stamp them black because I do want them softer. So I do want to get a happy birthday on here first. This is going to be a masculine happy birthday, and I'm grabbing my sweet ice cream stamp set, one of my favorite sets. It's one of my go-to sets. Okay, and let us stamp that. I think I'm going to pull in Misty Moonlight, okay, because this gray blue, it's going to make that, pull some of that blue out of in here and in here. And now that I stamped that gray, it does look more gray. So what is everybody's plans for the New Year's? Dave and I leave it for the amateurs. Okay, happy birthday, right up the middle there. Okay, and then we're going to take these three birds. I don't want them flying upside down, so let me test them. There we go. So we're going to just put some birds flying right around, just like that. Okay, I'm not going to close my pads up, just put them to the side. I'm going to go ahead and take and mount this onto some soft, succulent cardstock. It is getting cold outside tomorrow. It's supposed to be halfway decent for us, but then we are supposed to be slammed with snow on Saturday. Okay, so we could have just put this onto a soft succulent base. Oh my gosh, my mouth is so dry. Okay, like I said, this is going to be more of a masculine card. Both bases are 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. But look at this one. Now that will brighten it. And I feel petal pink isn't really, I think it's more of a fleshy pink than a pink, and that would be fine. But see how it brightens up the bottom here? But I do want it to be masculine. And even though I am for the petal pink, I think my sons would die if I gave them a pink birthday card. I have the smoky slate, and look how that changes that. Just that quickly, right? What do you say? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use the smoky slate. Even though I personally like the petal pink better, I like it when it's a little bit brighter, and I love bringing those undertones out. And this could be, this could be a birthday card for my daughter-in-law. She's very, very outdoorsy also. Okay, now this is masculine, but masculine does not mean that we can't add a little bit of bling to our card. I am adding just a little bit of Stella. Let me get this started here so I don't get a blob out. And in this water, I am adding some Stella just in the background there, because that's going to make it look like either ice or water. You could take and add a little bit of blue to it, and it would make it look more like water. But see that bling? Can you guys see that? Oh, you can't. It is gorgeous though. Okay, so we got that, but we want to add a little bit more bling to it. One of the other products that we have coming out in our January to June mini catalog are these pebbles. Oh my gosh, aren't these so cute? I just love these pebbles, you guys. Okay, look at these. Aren't they awesome? They look like real stones. So we're going to add just a couple of those right in here. So let's go for some smaller ones. We're going to go for this guy here. And I don't have my take your pick tool. Let me see if I can bend this a little bit. There we go. Get it up this way. I'm going to add, not on top of the tree, but right down here, like it's a rock. And then we'll take this lighter one here, this little bitty one here, and we're going to add this one right up here in the crook of the river or the lake. So, I can't quite get it on there. Let me use my snips. So see that little, watch how this fills that in. Isn't it so cool? Oh my gosh, so exciting. Now I think we need one right here. We'll take this other little skinny one and we will put it right here. So we are adding bling because these are enamel stones. They add a little bit of shine to this, but we've kept it masculine, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this tonight. I'm going to flip you around. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my Christmas cards that many of you sent me, and I really truly appreciate that, and we'll be enjoying them, and those coming into my studio over the next months will enjoy seeing them also. We talked a little bit about organization and tools tonight, and answered several questions, and then we made a card with a little bit of a sneak peek. This one here. Can you see? Oh, now you can see that glimmer of that Stella there and those stones. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tonight, and Happy New Year to everybody. And we'll be seeing you next week in the new year. Until we meet again, happy stamping. Bye-bye.